Welcome to the Niche and Branding Workshop. So today it's all about how to find your niche and develop your brand. Now you'll find that your niche will evolve as time goes on. A lot of people get hung up on niche. Do not let yourself be one of those people. Just get out there. Your niche essentially is who you are, and the type. It could be who you are now. It could be if you've made great strides into the business. It could be who you were before you started. So anyway, I'm going to go into some detail. This will help you to establish what your niche is and how to pinpoint the type of people that you want to help and how you want to do that. So really, your niche is your focus and your passion. It's about who do you want to serve and how do you want to do it. Your insights on your Instagram, for instance, will give you a good inkling as to what your audience wants more from you. They will give you an indication of what is resonating best. And so once you've established your business for a little while, it's definitely worth going back into your insights every 30 days or so and seeing what type of posts have got good traction. Bearing in mind, it just does depend how active you were on social media before you posted the post, what time of day it was, what day of the week it was, what's going on in the world that might have affected it. Is it a bank holiday? Is it the height of holiday time? Christmas, that sort of thing. So those will have an influence too, but you will start to see a pattern emerging. So you can see number 2, uncover your audience. I help who to do what. That is essentially your niche. So to help you define your niche, who are you, first of all? What's your gender? What's your age, marital status, kids or no kids? And what are your passions and interests? So for me, I'm obviously female, I'm 51, I'm an empty nester, I'm single, I'm menopausal, I'm an INFJ, which is, if you know the Myers-Briggs personality type, that is the most rare personality type. And I put that on my Instagram profile purely because I get a lot of people messaging me saying, hey, I'm an INFJ too. Already that's a point of connection. It would also indicate that that person knows something about personality types or therapy, which again is another point of communication, being as that is my background. So also, what is your mission? Do you want to train people? Do you want to inspire people? Do you want to educate people? Do you want them to help them believe in bigger? So bear that in mind as well. And also this other thing, what's your one word? There's a great book by Evan Carmichael called Your One Word. And it essentially encompasses everything that you stand for. So mine is freedom. I struggled. Was it adventure? Was it freedom? It's actually freedom, because adventure kind of falls under the freedom banner. But I wanted freedom of time. I wanted freedom of choice. I wanted freedom of everything. I struggle even to write a date in the diary. The freedom for me is so overwhelming and overpowering, rather. I would be quite happy living in a cave overlooking the ocean somewhere in the world that I just liked. I just, freedom for me is it. And Evans is believe. So what is your one word that would sum up who you are, your mission, and your probably core value, really deep-seated core value? And if you need help finding that out, take a look at his book, Evan Carmichael, Your One Word. It's a brilliant book. And also, who do you love watching and why? That's a really good indicator. Is it because they're funny? Is it because they break things down into simplistic terms? Is it their energy? Is it their positivity? Is it their authenticity? So make a list of all the things that you enjoy seeing in other people, and also make a list of the things that you believe you are, because there'll be so many commonalities. And believe it too. Now you might think, oh yeah, I love watching funny stuff. The funny reels, they're really great, but I'm not funny. Really question yourself. Are you being untrue to yourself? Because often when we see something in somebody else that we really enjoy, it's because we embody that value as well. And where you feel a relationship between who you are and the people you're watching, go all in on those attributes to establish your brand and your niche. Also know your mission. So what do you stand for and what do you don't stand for? So what are your non-negotiables? Do Do you want to polarize all your audience? It's a great way of sifting out, weeding out people who might not want what you've got and those who do. But I think most people say steer clear of religion, politics, and what's the other one? I can't remember. But for me, if somebody's being negative, I either block them or I mute them. If it's somebody that you know and they'll get offended and might sort of attack you verbally, because you've blocked them, you can just mute them. So it means their stuff doesn't show up anymore, but you've not, they'll know that you've not blocked them. They won't know you've muted them. So it's a sort of safe way to deal with people who might get offended. I'm not a great fan of swearing. I do swear occasionally, but very, very rarely. Obviously, I do not tolerate hate. I do not tolerate body shaming, sexism, racism, anything like that. And there are things like, what do you stand for? I stand for the truth. I stand for authenticity. I stand for people taking responsibility for their lives. So I've had people in the past who, please don't think this is what you've got to do too. But if somebody's showing up consistently crying on their Instagram feed, it's just like, I just can't be doing with it. It's just like, come on. Yeah, occasionally we all get upset and life is hard. But there are some people who almost seem to milk it, and I just can't. I'm so impatient with people like that. So know what your non-negotiables are and know what you stand for and what you don't stand for. Remember, you do not have to be fun to win, but you do have to be real. Authenticity is one of the most important factors on Instagram, well, on social media, completely and utterly. So here are some examples to help you work out what you might use in your bio. So for instance, don't worry, I'm coming back to this slide. This is my bio. So the top one is what I had just a few days ago, and then I've recently changed it to the one at the bottom. They pretty much say the same sort of thing. I quite like changing up my bio. I don't think there's any benefit in as far as algorithm goes, but I quite like to just try different words, like you can see here. So here it says resources, down below it says join me. It'll be interesting to see if I've had more click-throughs on my my direct me. Now that direct me is the same as Linktree. So if you use Linktree, essentially Linktree or direct me allows you to use one link on your Instagram, but then it leads to multiple links. So when somebody clicks my direct me link, it goes to multiple different links. There is a tutorial in our team page that shows you how to use direct.me. So do a search on our team page if you want to do that. It's pretty much the same as Linktree. I just think it looks nicer. You can brand it better. I prefer the layout of it. So I use direct.me. But back to this, they both say pretty much the same, but for me, I like the emojis in it because the emojis say so much without having to read. If somebody looks at my bio and they think, oh, if they like adventure, if they like the sun, if they like nature, they're going to immediately be drawn to my bio. You'll see on the top line as well, the first one's Kate Menopause Support, the second one is Kate Menopause Fitness. Again, more specifically, I really am more about menopause fitness. So I thought, well, I'll change that as well. You'll see from the top one to the bottom one, I've moved INFJ to the bottom of the sort of end of it. I might move it back, I might not. But principally, I help menopausal mums get the body you've always wanted and help you earn an online income. So I help menopausal mums get the body you've always wanted and help you. Now, again, there's a difference. Normally, people say I help menopausal mums get the body they have always wanted. I'm trying you because I think it's more personal. So if somebody's reading that, they're thinking, oh yeah, I'm talking to me. She's talking to me rather than she's talking to them. And I think when you're communicating on Instagram or social media, it's so important to talk to, you might be talking to a group of people, but talk to them as though they're one. Whenever you're addressing the camera or you're talking to somebody, doing a live or a video, there are so many people that go, hey guys, hi, la, la, like the big crowd. And that's fine. There's nothing really wrong with that. But I think it's better to address this. It's one person watching you. So why on earth would you refer to that individual as guys or friends or loads of people? So just bear that in mind as well. I think it's much more personable when you're talking to the one person on your story rather than lots. I also, in fact, you know what, my avatar, I'm not going into avatars on this one, but my avatar is basically it's the individual that your niche represents. My avatar is called Lulu. I've even given her a name. Lulu's it's quite a powerful name. It's got fun depicted with it. She's Lulu. She's midlife. She's my sort of age. She's menopausal. She's got tenacity. She's quite cheeky. She's a bit mischievous. She has fun with life. That is my avatar. So when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to Lulu most of the time. And if people aren't my Lulu, they can bugger off. It doesn't matter. I don't want to address everyone. I'm coming to that in a minute. When you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. You want to be talking to your one individual, because there are lots of those Lulus out there. So consider it. Who is your avatar? What's she called, or what's he called? So I'm going to go back to the previous slide. So these are some examples just to help you. So you want to be specific, because again, like I say, if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. So I help women in their 50s to build a dog grooming business. Yep, that's good enough. I help people to use pens. No, it's bland. It's just like boring. I help people get fit. Again, it's just too wide. Yeah, you might be the best personal trainer on the planet, but it says nothing. Loads of people help people get fit. I help menopausal mums get the body they've always dreamed of having. Yep, that's good. I help midlife men discover their identity. Yep, that's specific. I help midlife women to release belly fat. Again, it's specific. In 21 days, I'll help you drop between 5 and 15 pounds, tone up and feel unstoppable. Bloody hell. I might actually add that to my bio. That is one I wrote earlier. But again, that is super specific. And actually with 21 Day Fix, that's what we normally say. People drop between 8 and 15 pounds within 3 weeks. Because this is, I will help you drop between, I think you need to err on the side of caution, so 5 and 15 pounds. But if somebody's following our nutrition, if they're following our workouts, they are highly likely to drop between 5 and 15 pounds. And I think fill and stop. I love that. Actually, I might actually change my bio again. By all means, feel free to use these. Don't feel like you can't, go for it. So there's another good book as well by Pat Flynn. I don't know if you've ever come across him. I used to follow him religiously back in the day when I was thinking about making online courses. A book called Superfans. He's such a nice guy. He's so personable, but it's a great book as well. So, and also remember, your brand can pivot. Your personality is always going to stay as you, but your brand will pivot and can pivot. When you're thinking about posting, so you know, if you've got lots of interest, how do you decide what is going to be part of your content and what isn't? You want your feed posts, so your in-feed posts on like your Instagram grid and your Facebook timeline, you want those to be brand related. So they want to be specific about, you know, your niche. Who are you helping? If you're talking about menopause 1 minute and then woodwork the next, and then you're showing a picture of a monkey on a trip to the zoo, and then you're showing a picture of some quilting you did on your feed, people are going to be confused. They're not going to understand what you represent and what you do. Whereas you can share that sort of thing in your stories, because stories are where people actually get to know you. That's where you build your trust with people. So you can help people drop between 5 and 15 pounds, tone up and feel unstoppable. But you can also be, might love crochet, you might love baking, you might love dog walking, you might love guinea pigs. Anything like that is great for your stories, but be mindful that on your feed, it should be clear to people what are they going to get from you, because when you fan someone, so find, add, message them, they are definitely going to be looking at your feed, which is why your social media needs to have relevant stuff on it. That's why it's helpful to have that bio. I help, who do da-di-da-di-da. And sometimes I get asked, well, it's okay, so if I love quilting and I love keeping fit, can I talk about quilting on my TikTok and keeping fit on my Facebook or my Instagram? Yeah, you can. I'm not sure it's a super effective method. I think, again, it's confusing because people on TikTok will probably come and have a look for you on, probably not on Facebook actually, but probably on Instagram, or the vice versa. And then if you're talking about quilting on one and keeping fit on the other, again, it's kind of, it's a bit random. So consider what are the pillar points of your brand. I like to call them pillar points. Mine is menopause, menopause, fitness, and that's actually my pillar really is menopause. It's fitness, it's menopause symptoms, natural menopause, and creating a life of freedom. Those really are the things that underpin. It's inspirational. I suppose another pillar of mine is positivity. I want somebody to come to my feed and think, oh my goodness, yeah, I feel better for having been there. And that's why my branding is quite bright. I like bright colors. They make me feel happy. And if they make me feel happy, the people like me will also feel happy. And again, your colors, I wouldn't get too worried about colors. Mine's changed so much over the years. To begin with, I liked I never did it, but I really liked to have people use all like the whites, everything looked white and oh, so beautiful. Then people turned to like pale pinks and grays. And I thought, oh, it just looks so pretty. And it does look pretty. And then it was rose gold. And I just thought, oh, I love that so much too. And then I thought, I love lavenders and mauve. So, then I started doing sort of like turquoisey blues and lavenders. And again, it was really pretty. But then I just thought, it's not really me. My favorite scarf has got bright colors in it. I love bright colors. So I thought, bugger it, I'm going bright. I don't use a filter on my feed. A lot of people do. I think filters are becoming less important these days. I've never used a filter. I actually bought a set of filters and I actually don't know how to use them. So I don't know. Just be authentic. It goes back to being authentic again. Authenticity is the most important. Don't don't waste any time, even a second, thinking, oh my goodness, my feed looks messy. Gone are the days. It doesn't have to look curated. It has to be authentic. And if yours is authentically messy, go for it. Embrace it. So we've had a look at that one already. So this is about finding your niche again. So essentially it can start quite broad, and then as time goes on, you can refine it. And I just encourage you, dare to be you. Do not be beige. Don't think you've got to blend in. If you've got an opinion, share it. And yes, you'll polarize people if you've got a strong opinion, but it gets rid of the people who are not your tribe. And the more polarizing you are, you might get a little bit of hate. But again, that's the block button. Listen, if you have one hater, and I don't really want to talk, I'm not going to waste my time talking about haters because there are just trolls out there and negative minis and keyboard warriors. But if you do have a hater, celebrate it, because it means you've got 100 raving fans. For one hater, you've normally got about 100 raving fans. You might not know who they all are, but they're there watching you. A lot of people have watched me for ages and I have no idea who they are. And they say, I'm ready to start. It's just like, okay, well, who are you? But it's really funny. People do watch. So if you get a hater, don't let it stress you out. Block them and move on. Do not let them take your power away. The other thing I'd say is to get really good at telling stories. Stories are brilliant to share on your story. So if you're listening to the National Wake Up Call, just share a little bit about it. You don't need to say, oh, I've just been listening to the Beachbody National Wake Up Call and Coach da-di-da-di-da, she did-da-da. Just say, oh my goodness, I'm so inspired. I've just been listening to, or we have like a weekly podcast, and it's all for sort of help. We all share our strategies and learning about the business and what's working right now with social media changing so fast. And I just learned how so-and-so joined the business 6 months ago and she's already been able to retire her husband. If for instance, for example, and just leave it like that. I think stories, the more you can be just chatty and almost seed something else into it. So you're not like, oh my God, you've got to drink this Energize because it's so powerful and it will help you get through your workout because it's anti-inflammatory and it contains X, Y, and Z. Don't worry about that. Talk about something entirely different while you're mixing your Energize in front of the camera. Talk about how cold it is, or, oh, I really don't want to get out of bed today. It's too chilly, but I'm going to get my sweat on because I know it makes you feel good. How are you starting your day? Something like that. Maybe put a poll so people will engage on it. But yes, I actually have a Trello board where I save stories. If I'm out and about, sometimes I don't dump them in there, but I do try and save stories on my Trello board. Also, launches are a brilliant opportunity to get hold of stories. So, there's masses at the transformations on Beachbody, the champions page at the moment, the Team 4111 page. If you follow the course, the program creator, you'll get stories from that feed as well. The Beachbody blog, they have lots of articles on there. I mean, there's so many ways of getting stories from people. So yeah, have a look and get good at curating stories and saving them, so that maybe on your social media, you have a note that every Wednesday, for instance, you're going to tell a story on your social media, on your stories, or go live and do it. If you're brave, go live, because lives get much more reach. Stories only really get seen by your followers. Lives and reels get pushed out to a much wider following, or much wider audience. They don't have to follow you. So really your goal is to separate the people from those who like you and those who dislike you, or are ambivalent towards you, and then turn the ones who like you into raving fans, and put this everywhere. So obviously you want your who do you help and why and how do you help them. You want that to be on your profiles, whether depending on what sort of social media account you have. If I was going to be doing a live, I don't always do this, but this is what I actually should do. I'd be saying, hey friends, or hey friend, or hey Fitster, or whatever it is. Kate coming to you live today from Cornwall, or wherever I might be. Today I'm talking to you about XYZ, and if it's the first time you've come across me, I help who to do what. I help menopausal mamas get the body they always wanted, and I can do the same for you. Or I help single mums to earn an extra income online, whatever it might be. You can always tweak it a little bit depending on the topic you're talking about. And I also do recommend that every sort of 30 to 60 days on your post, on your in-feed post and all your stories, I would do like a reintroduction post, particularly if you've got quite a few followers over the last few days. It's a really good way of people. A lot of people will follow you. They might have followed you for years and they don't really know what you do, especially when somebody's followed you for a long time. They're thinking, oh, it's a bit embarrassing now to ask what they do because I should know it already. So this is like a reintroduction post example. So intro post can be as long or as short as you want, but make sure to talk about who you are on your social media. On TikTok, for instance, one of the biggest things you can do is an about me video. And on TikTok, you're allowed to pin your you're allowed to pin 3 videos. So pin your about me video if you're using TikTok as a social media platform. If you're using Instagram, you can do it as a story, or you can share it as an in-feed post, or do both. And when it's a story, you can save it to your highlights. And so I would just have a highlight saying about me, so that when people come to your account and they're new, they can see what you're about. Also, you'll find that people that have been following you for a long time, it's almost got awkward because they might not really know what you do, but it's been too long and they're embarrassed to ask. So it's a great thing to have on your Instagram. Same with your Facebook. So if you do a video, do a live, or you do a written post, or maybe a photograph of yourself, you can go into that post that you've posted. So post it, and then click into that post, and you'll see the top 3 on the 3 dots at the top right. You can click those, and it's got the pinned post option. Pin that, and that will come to the top of your feed, so that anybody who's coming to your Facebook account can see that that's the first video that they see, and it gives them a really good idea of people, so they know what to expect from you. And also, if you are doing videos, say live videos, for instance, I would say, especially like on TikTok, it's got to be fairly short. I'd say, hey, I'm Kate. I just want to spend 30 seconds letting you know what to expect from my content. My mission is to help women put themselves first, to guide them through menopause, and to get the life they've always wanted. So if you're a midlife and wanted to get healthy and wealthy, hit the follow button so I can help you more. And if you've got more time, you can always say, I'm a brummie. I love the sea. I love the wild coast of Cornwall, blah, 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 blah. So I think you've only got 30 seconds on TikTok. Just know that to build a brand without using reels or live videos is going to be tough. You can do it, but it will take a lot longer. The reason live videos and reels are so popular at the moment is because Facebook and Instagram have clearly said that's what they're promoting more of. But also Instagram and Facebook are going much more towards authenticity. So again, that's why don't spend ages curating your feed. It's just not worth it. It's a waste of time. If your feed looks messy, it doesn't matter. So if you're live and you cock up, people can see it's authentic, and you can just make a joke about your cock up. Remember, you can always delete a video too. So if you kind of like get to the middle and you just think, oh shit, excuse my language, you can stop it and delete it, particularly if there aren't many people on it. If there are lots of people on watching, just say, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I just said that, or I've forgotten that. When that happens, they are all going to relate to you because they all get the same problem. Never think you're a failure by cocking up live. It will really draw people to you. It really, truly does. So always remember that if you're making a mistake or you've forgotten what you wanted to say, just explain that you've forgotten. Just make a joke about it, or however you want to get through it. People will really resonate with you. So yeah, bear that in mind. That is, if you want these slides after I've done this, let me know. I'll share them with you. And make sure that whatever you're talking about, you're really passionate about, because you might be talking about it for a long time. And make sure to be a fountain and not a drain. So this goes back to people that are like really negative on their feeds. Be positive. Be something that energizes people. Be somebody that people want to come and see because you make them laugh, or you're sharing really useful information, or you're making difficult things easy. Making sure it's something that you can talk passionately about. And as you evolve, your niche will definitely shift. You know, a lot of new coaches, they tend to focus on just talking about the fit club and health and fitness because that's easy. It's you know, it's a lot easier to get new customers on board than it is to bring somebody in as an active coach working the business. But then they realize, okay, if they want to make big money out of this, they're going to have to start to build a team, and that can be daunting if all they've done for the last 18 months is post about health and fitness. So one thing you can do, it's a really simple thing. You can either like take a week off, embrace it, plan out your social media for the next month or something, work out how you're going to change your strategy, and then come back with an announcement post, or just start the next Monday, do that announcement post. You can say, I've had a week off, or I've had a couple of days off, and I've been reviewing my passions and who I want to help, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm super excited about it. If you've got any questions about it, I'd love to share more. Otherwise, watch out, here it comes. Something like that. And it's just, you know, you've drawn your line in the sand. Not everybody will see that post or story, but it doesn't matter. For you, you've announced it. And so always remember, yeah, I think I sort of mentioned this earlier, but with my videos cut off my internet's cut off a couple of times. Just to repeat, your feed is for your brand and niche. Your stories are for your interests and your lifestyle. Okay. So that really is kind of literally sums up niche. So now we're going to talk about how to find your brand. And branding really is a promise to people so they know what they're going to get. Branding started in the 1650s when the farmers used to colour their cows so they'd know whose cow belonged to who. And then after that, it was used to identify wine, to ID if the wine was good or bad. And in 1886, Coca-Cola sold 9 bottles. They built a brand of most of us know, and well, it's not healthy. But in 2010, they sold 1.6 billion bottles. It's just wild, isn't it? It's crazy. The ultimate brands become verbs. So like Google, I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Netflix it. Let's Netflix the night. Let's Netflix and chill. I'm going to WhatsApp the group. Honestly, ultimate brands become used as a verb. If you are being used as a verb, you've hit your flipping pinnacle. But good branding gets you into the consideration set of a customer. So, you know, if you were to buy a car and money wasn't an object, what make of car would you buy? Everyone has a brand that they look to, and there's a reason why you want that car. It might be because you associate it with safety. It might be because you know it crashes well. You might be because you've seen a celebrity drive it. You may have seen it in a film and you just thought, oh, that is such a cool car. It's really important. That makes you think why you would want that car. Because ultimately, when people have an emotional connection to something, that fires up their purchase power. It makes them want to commit to something. And if you could be anyone in like the health and fitness field, who would you choose to be? And there are reasons why you would want to be that person, because they share similar attributes to you, or they have something that you admire. So remember that. You know, you might admire somebody because of the money they've got, because of their energy, because of their heart, because of their power, because of their influence, because of their fun. We like brands that we can relate to. So always bear that in mind when you're posting. What is your brand saying about you, but what do you want it to evoke in the people reading your content? And remember, your brand will pivot, your personality will always stay the same, but your brand can pivot. So here's the goal of a brand. So we start at the bottom. Before somebody comes across you, they're completely unaware of you. So that's the most people out there on social media. And actually, when you send your fan message, your find out message, they're unaware until they read your message, and then they become aware. Now they read the message and they think, oh, who's this? So they go over and check your profile. So then they might think, I really like what that person's sharing. That's really cool. So now they've become aware of you, and they might start to follow you back. They might start to see your stories pop up. And I have people whose stories pop up and I jump on them because they've got stuff that I read. I like who they are, and they're delivering value that I really enjoy, whether it's informative, whether it's latest social media updates, whether it's new coach information, whether they're brilliant at reels and I like what they do. So I use them as like a content bank. And I choose them. So they now have influence over me because I am thinking they're brilliant. For whatever reason, they have influence over me. So if they said to me, hey, by the way, would you be able to learn about this that I'm doing? I'd probably be saying, yeah, I would. And actually, there's some of those people I would say I am a raving fan of. When I see their stories pop up, I'm thinking, brilliant, so-and-so's added something else. I've become a raving fan of theirs. So even if I'm not willing or ready to buy something quite yet, when I want that thing, I know who I'm going to be asking for that particular product or service because I'm already a raving fan. And that's how it works. Most people think influence is the end goal. It's not. You want to have fans. You want them to love you for what you stand for because you stand for the same thing, or the value you share. How they benefit from you. So people become aware of you when you create content to help the unaware become aware. And when you create content around your niche and things you're passionate about, people will find you at some point. That's why it's important to know what your niche is, and really important to be authentically you. And also to have posture. Know what you know and walk your walk. Don't let people dilute you. You know, for instance, if there's somebody that you've fallen in love with, you don't go and ask your best friend if they're worth dating, if that person you've fallen in love with is worth dating, because you have posture around it. What we do, I have so much posture. If people, I love it when people give me an objection, because for me it's fun. I have so much posture around what we do because I know it works. Particularly if you do the work, it works. Whether that's the business side of things, whether it's the health and fitness side of things. Nobody can sway me on what we do. And some of those people you'll have influence over. And a small proportion of them will become raving fans of yours. They'll be communicating on your posts, they'll share your content, they'll respond to your stories. The wrong people will filter themselves out from you, and that's good. The right people will set up their deck chair and sun umbrella, unpack their sandwiches, and they will sit and watch everything you do. And when you have raving fans and you have influence over people, they'll help more people become aware of you because they'll share your stuff. And that's when things start to grow quite quickly. And it can take a while. Sometimes it happens much sooner. There's no secrets or hack. All you can really do is establish a niche, get convicted around that niche, and create content in that niche. And if you can call your raving fans something, that also helps. She's a 65-year-old multi-organ transplant lady that I follow, and she addresses her fans as Queenagers, and I think it's a really cool idea. Other people, it might be legends, it might be friends, might be fitsters, but talk, when you're talking on your stories, I mentioned it earlier, but talk to one person, not masses of people. And remember, when people are unaware of you, they need information to make the decision. So are you a scammer, or can you help them? And why would they listen to you? They need to know what you have to offer, which again is why your content is important on your social media. So essentially, they need a lot of information to be able to make a decision. When they're aware, they need less information. When you have influence, you're pretty much joining and finding reasons not to join. So if you know, when you have influence with somebody, if you say, hey, would you be open to learn more about the coach webinar or our coaching organization, they're already following what you're doing. They like who you are, they like what you do, they like what you share. So clearly there's a large part of them that thinks, yeah, I think I'd quite like that. So at this stage, they're thinking, okay, why wouldn't I want to do that? What are the what ifs? And that's when fears get in the way. But pretty much there has to be a huge red flag for them to say no. And when you have raving fans, they'll pretty much buy sand from you if you lived in the desert. They need virtually no information. They may back out at a later date, but you know, most of them will say, yeah, I'm into it. Tell me what I need to do. So to define your brand, you need to define your unique voice. Why would somebody listen to you instead of someone else? Is it because you're funny? Is it because of your energy? Is it because of your experience? Is it because of your passion, your positivity, your amazing recipes? What is it? And remember, there is no such thing as a unique message. There is just a unique messenger, which is you. Be yourself, because everyone else is taken, okay? And I would also, when you see a post that you really, really like, save it into a collection in your Instagram, or say you can also create collections on Facebook. I would save them. I do. If I see a cool caption or a cool image or a funny reel, I save those into collections. I've got workout reel collection, funny reels collections, product reels collections, business reels collections. And when I'm planning my content for the next week or 2 weeks ahead, I have a look in my reels, save my folders where I've saved these various pieces of content, and I think, oh yeah, I'm going to do that day. That's funny. That really resonates with what's going on at the moment, and I create my own version of it. And also, yeah, number 3, just going into that as well, see what those people that you follow are sharing. How are they sharing it? Again, save those posts, and how are they doing their call to actions, their CTAs? How are they writing them? You know, see how when you think, oh yeah, that's a really cool CTA, save it. Maybe even have like a list of CTAs that you can use. And I would be using CTAs at least twice a week. You don't want them in every post, because otherwise people will get bored. Oh God, you're just trying to get me to do this again. You need to have some posts that don't have CTAs on them, but you want at least 2 a week, because people need to know that you're not just sharing information, that you've got something that can help them. So CTAs are really, really important. You just need to balance out how many you use. So ID your attributes and go all in. Make big of your personality. Create and save stories so that you can keep telling stories, because stories are so engaging. They're a great way of captivating somebody's attention. Share analogies. Be aware of how you show up. Are you energized? If you're sharing a story which you want to be energetic, but you're not feeling energized, jump up and down a bit, or save it for a day when you're feeling better. Your body language says so much. And this is about being vulnerable. It's not about being fake, but just remember that there's a lot of negativity and fear out there. So we want to be shining the light and helping people, not bringing them down. And also be aware what emojis do you often use. I'm going to whiz back to where my mics on. Those are mine. So those emojis really sum me up. What emojis do you use? Because those will also define your brand. Have I been on this one? Yeah, I am. Sorry, next one. The ones I use the most are the muscle emoji. I use that all the time. The fire one, the dancing lady one. I use the laugh emoji a lot. I use the gratitude emoji a lot. I use the happy face. I use the sun. And what's that one with the 2 hands? It's like whoop whoop, because I say whoop whoop a lot. And I'm actually, as I'm saying this, my hands are going up in the air. So the one with the 2 hands that go up in the air, I use that one loads as well. And just remember to be authentic. So what is your dash? What's the dash is your story of your life. What will you be remembered for? Because social media is full of BS. There is so much fake stuff out there. people with massive followings, their accounts are designed for those huge followings, and actually in a lot of cases they've bought their followers. Huge followings don't mean raving fans. You're much better off to have a small group of really engaged followers than a big group of people that are not engaging on your stuff. It's about the close-knit community that you create. And again, remember, there's no such thing as a unique message, only unique messengers, and you are a unique messenger. So embrace that. And then we're getting to this is our last slide nearly. Give value and serve. So only when you create value for others will they see the value in you. It's not just about educating now, thank goodness. It's about entertaining, it's empowerment, it's about enlightening, it's sharing how-tos, it's dancing, if you like that kind of thing. Always focus on helping the person that you are either evolving out of or that you used to be. And so never forget where you came from. And also, you don't die until people stop mentioning your name. So what will your legacy be? What do you want to be remembered for? Because that's really important, that when people leave your feed, when they leave a conversation with you, that you leave them feeling a certain way. So how do you want to leave people feeling? I always want to leave people feeling that they can do it, and that there is light in this world, and that while awful things might be happening, there is still stuff that we can do, and help them feel more positive about it. And treat your fans like royalty. If you treat them like royalty, they will give you their royalty. And that's also your customers and people who come into your team, your organization. That's when our job starts. That's when we need to really look after them and us, each other. You guys, I brought you into here. It is my absolute duty to be here to support you and mentor you as much or as little as you want. I have a great sense of responsibility around that. So always remember, I am here. I might not be able to answer your message at 3 a.m. in the morning, but that's why you have my WhatsApp number, so that you get direct access. If you're messaging me on Instagram and Facebook, it could take me ages because I get so many messages on those platforms. That's why you've got my WhatsApp number. So make sure you're using that so that I can respond to you quickly. And you can collaborate with your peers. That includes each other. You know, if you want to do something together, because listen, your followers don't know who I am. My followers don't know who you are. We can do something together if you want to. We can do like a TikTok share, or we can do a live share. We can, or you can do it with other people. Collaborate with other people in your sphere. Remember that, collaborations are really good. I think a lot of people are worried about collaborating because they think, oh, the person I collaborate with might mean that my followers go to them because they like them more. So for instance, say you do a live with Shalene Johnson, but they don't know who she is. Okay, most of us know who Shalene is, and you're thinking, oh, bricking it, bloody hell, Shalene Johnson, she's so famous, she's so rich, she's such a celebrity these days, all my fans are going to leave me and go to her. Well, the chances are they're not, because you can follow more than one person for a start. Now, Shalene, I don't think she actively builds a team anymore. I can't imagine she does. She doesn't need to. But the good thing is, if your fans are weak and weedy, so if they're thinking, oh, I really like Shalene and I actually don't really like Kate anymore, I'm going to unfollow her. I might even block her and I'm going to join Shalene's brigade. That's cool, because you don't want people in them. You do not want rotten apples. You don't want to bring on rotten apples into your organization. You definitely don't want to convince people that we've got the best thing out there. If they need convincing, they're just the wrong audience. And it works both ways. Shalene might have people that are thinking, oh God, I can't listen to this mad woman any longer, but I really like that Kate. Yeah, she's got much more I identify with her much more. She shares the same sort of values. Yeah, I'm going to follow Kate. I'm going to block that Shalene woman. I'm going to follow Kate. It works both ways. So you might be worried it destroys your brand. It doesn't, I promise you. It weeds out the weak. And collaborating is a great way to get more eyes. Oops, what did I do? More eyes on your stuff. it's fun, and it also delivers more content to your audience too. I think it's engaging. I think it shows that you're going to make an effort to share even more content with your tribe. I don't collaborate enough. I don't really have time to set up the collaborations at the moment, but it's definitely something I want to do more of. And it's fun. And also people get to know you better because they see how you interact when you're talking to somebody who's a friend or a contact. And I think that in itself is really, really important. So just remember that. Right, my loves, that is it. The niche and branding workshop has come to an end. Da, da, da. Thank you for your company. I thought I'd add some of my emojis just because I can. So yeah, if there's any questions, just get back to me. If you're not quite sure about something, just ask. That's what I'm here for. I will share these slides in our team page so that you have a copy of them if you want to go through them yourself, or indeed if you want to share the presentation with your own downline. So thank you. I really appreciate the time it's taken for you to weed through this. I hope it's been helpful, and I will talk to you soon.